day everyone, I am Match Melody Ramos and I'm going to continue the report of Miss Clarish, which is the violations of gender-fair language. As continuation, we are now in fostering an equal gender relations. Language that lacks parallelism fosters unequal gender relations. The use of man and wife assumes that men are still men and women's identities are subsumed and shifted into beings in relation to their husbands. Unequal gender relations refer to how language can reinforce the superiority of one gender, typically men, over others or over women, especially members of the LGBTQ community. These relations are often embedded in job titles, honorifics, and gender job expectations. For example, man and a wife. So they call the man still man, but the woman they called it wife because they have already a husband. And the other example is a chairman. They are still men. So chairman instead of a chairperson. Other examples in job is a policeman, a fireman, and also the people assume that doctors are for only men and the women are nurses. So through these ideas, men are leaders while women only are the supporters, and this can contribute inequality in the workplace or in the society. Other violations of gender-fair language is gender polarization of words and the use of adjectives. So in the book, the example there is the Care brand Dove advertisement. So both men and women did the same activity but were described differently. Ang men is considered the leader is they called it boss, while women, when they are supposed to be a leader, they called it or considered it bossy. Another example of polarization in adjectives is when we describe men as strong. So for men, we tend to say lalaking lalaki. But if a female, it is negative for them and they called it maton. While when male is a gentle or kanang mahinahon, while if female ang ilang i-describe, they called it maarte. So basically, words that are meant to describe people are applied unevenly. Bisan pag ang laki or ang babay kay same ra gibuhat, people tend to describe women who authorize or criticize being overly aggressive kanang mo na gingon nga bossy, pero if men, they praise them. Even same ra sila og gibuhat or same behavior. So men who worked overtime were seen as providers, while women who did the same were seen as uncaring. So this polarization of adjectives shows how perception does change and how one sees certain acts depending on who performs them. Next violation is hidden assumptions. Hidden assumptions in sentences can also be forms of microaggression if the underlying perceptions are sexist and degrading. For example, kanang ang tao is nakita siya nga ang nagbabysit sa iyang anak is ang father. So they assumes that the father is not a caregiver and that any attempt he has at parenting is temporary. Kay basically ang wife man jud ang magbantay daw sa or ang magbibisit sa iyang children. Other example of hidden assumptions is kanang someone is na pildi sa game, or let's just say na nagduwa silag ML and then iyang gamit is kanang for them is weak hero, and moana sila nga kanang ang hero sa kanang ang hero niya is kanang lucky siya, pero ang iyang hero nga gigamit is Angela. So people tend to say na ang kana siya is bayot kay ang iyang hero nga gigamit sa ML kay Angela. So they call them bakla or bayot. But when people already stop doing that, it is called, or it is a sign of maturity and sees gender sensitivity in language, and also a sign of maturity. So if munugnog gani mo og ingon ana, it is a sign that you are immature. Charot. So next, we are going to talk about the Philippine culture and language. So Filipino or Tagalog is mainly gender neutral, without gendered characteristics or titles for men and women. So what makes Tagalog mainly gender neutral? So it is because unlike sa English, we say that woman is she and the men are he. He atong gigamit when we are talking to men or woman or female or male. So sa Filipino or Tagalog, we just called it siya, ako, ikaw, anak, kapatid, without knowing what the gender is. So, mo na siya ang Filipino or Tagalog language. So, that's what makes Filipino or Tagalog is mainly gender neutral. So, the values and the shaping of the education system were influenced by Western powers and ideals. And the other Filipino language we use that is neutral is asawa, without saying if the person is laki ba na siya or ang babae ba na asawa. But in today's time, our culture and word choices are not always gender equal. Even though the language itself, the Filipino itself, is neutral, the way we use words or the way we speak, the way we talk can show how biases we are, or how it shows bias. So for example, we say babaeng driver or lalaking nurse because they say babae ra ang nurse for girls only. In Filipino, you don't need to mention gender, but people often do. So according to my research, before colonization, many native Filipino had more gender flexible rules. So they respected equally. So like babaylan can be female or gay male. But when the Spanish and Americans came, women are thought to be quiet, modest, and a good wives only in the house. Men were expected to lead and be strong. But our education system, we already have mixed identity of Filipinos, which is the native plus foreign. So Filipinos today are a blend of traditional Filipinos and Western ideals, where we respect family, tradition, and religion. And we also aim for gender equality and human rights, which is Western influence. We should always be respectful, and we should understand and be aware, so can we can change our words and minds toward what is really a gender equality. That's all. Thank you.